are back on another Thursday evening for Focus on Government and Development, live on DBS Radio and Kyrie FM. Focus on Government and Development highlights the plans, programs, projects, and policies of the government of Dominica, while also highlighting the work in the constituencies of various parliamentary representatives. Reps get a chance to update on ongoing projects and upcoming projects as well. This evening, my guest is the Honorable Rosalind Paul, the Minister for Sports, Culture and Community Development, who is first and foremost the parliamentary representative for the Calibishe constituency. Honorable Rosalind Paul has been parliamentary representative for the Calibishe constituency since December 2014, and she has been Minister for Sports, Culture and Community Development following the general elections of December 2019. She's here in studio with us this evening, and we expect to have a lively discussion with the Minister for Sports, Culture and Community Development, Honorable Rosalind Paul, who is first and foremost the parliamentary representative for the Calibishe constituency.
That's right.
Focus on Government and Development, live here on DBS Radio and Kyrie FM. And we say good evening to Honorable Rosalind Paul.
Good evening, Daryl, and I will start first and foremost. That's who I am, first of all, with my constituents of Calibishe, Calibishe, Benson, Zimmer, Sola, and to all Dominicans, the listening public, wherever you are, whether at home, and I know most people are at home, on island and within the diaspora. A good evening, and it's the first time I'm speaking in public for the year, so I also wish everyone a successful 2022.
How has 2022 been for you thus far, Minister?
It has been good. Praise God, it has been great for me. I'm in good health.
Good.
So that is the most important, health, and then the Lord gives us the strength to continue.
Amen. Minister, let's get right into it. COVID-19 seems to be the main thing, the thing that brings up the most conversation for the past 2 years. What has been the impact of COVID-19 on the operations of your ministry?
Well, Daryl, as you know, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected every aspect of life. And it has affected all institutions. It has affected the private sector and public sector. I would say every ministry. And my ministry is no different. And furthermore, my ministry, by its mandate, is involved most times in bringing people together. We bring people together through cultural activities, entertainment, sporting events, and community gatherings. So bringing people together within a COVID-19 environment is difficult. We've had to put a hold on several of these activities. It has also affected timely delivery on project activities. For example, when we have to manufacture things according to specifications and ship, it causes more delays. And there are also COVID-19 travel restrictions. For example, we have, the scoreboard. We have built the base. At the time the people were supposed to come from New Zealand to install, their borders were closed at one time. So this shows you how it affects, COVID-19 has affected everything, even us in Dominica, in terms of shipping and manufacturing. But the good thing, it has brought out the innovation and talent of our people, and we see how much people like Calin XP has done and others in the entertainment industry. And I want to take this opportunity to commend Creole Heartbeat and all those who receive awards for their efforts and innovation in trying times. So commendation to all and congratulations to all of those who were very innovative and who were in receipt of awards.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought a halt to competitive sport, and many sportsmen and women have expressed some level of frustration that they are unable to participate in competitive sports over the past several months. What would you tell these athletes while we wait the resumption of sports?
We understand the frustration of our sportswomen and men, our athletes, and the various clubs and associations. But there's good news. We have just approved guidelines under the protocols for special events for the return, first of all, for organized sports events. You cannot just go full-fledged by bringing all sporting activities in an environment like this. But we are starting in a phased manner, and for the first phase, we are returning to organized sports events, and protocols and guidelines have been set. And we see that we're starting even this weekend with the organized OACS ECCB netball tournament. This will allow us to learn and to build as we move forward with other sporting events and possibly the hosting of CONCACAF and cricket, I would hope, sometime mid-year. So we, through these protocols, once we can learn from that, we can have organized sporting events. However, I would want to take the opportunity to emphasize that we need to take individual and collective responsibility. We must all play our part. And, you know, I noticed that some who speaks on the return of sports, they remain silent on the issue of vaccination. I do not think these two can go together, that you can remain silent on vaccination, because we are well aware of the high physical contact nature of several sporting disciplines. And some of them, while you play these games like football, netball, basketball, you can't do it with a mask. You can't play with a mask. You can't wash your hands while you're playing or sanitize your hands while you're playing, and you can do social distancing. So what is best in these circumstances? Is it vaccination or non-vaccination? So we need to ask ourselves, and we need to be all singing from the same hymn sheet, and that would benefit us. We have seen even in Dominica, while people are preparing to leave to go and represent Dominica at certain games, they cannot travel anymore because they test positive. So we need to really be all on board if we want to return to sports, and not just return to sport, but for the safe return of sports. And in this first phase, we say the safe return of organized sports events.
Is there a timeline for the return? Oh.
Well, we're starting this weekend.
With the netball
with
tournament.
The netball tournament.
Which
we'll speak about.
Yes. But you know, you mentioned that sports has been the hardest hit, one of the hardest hit areas with the COVID-19 pandemic. However, I've noted over the past year, government has continued to invest heavily in sporting infrastructure. Can you provide updates, for example, on the Windsor Park Sports Complex, the Maxac Indoor Facility, and we visited today the Geneva playing field in Grand Bay?
Yes. The Maxac Sports and the Maxac Indoor Hardcourts, we expect to commission between March and April. The only outstanding thing we had to do is to install heat extractors and industrial fans, and these are here on island. They've been cleared and they're going to be installed. So once we do that, we will be commissioning that facility in the next few weeks. It took some time for these things to get here. As I say, sometimes we suffer with shipping delays. But it's here, it's going to be installed, and then we're going to commission the MASAC indoor hard courts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the Geneva playing field, we have done significant work. There has been grading and drainage of the Geneva playing field, and what's left to be done is to do the grassing of the playing field and to construct a drain towards the north that is closer to the pavilion that would assist in water running from the road and to assist with the runoff water. So that's what we have to do to complete the project on the Geneva playing field. We also have other facilities to commission, which were undertaken under the BNTF, such as the pavilion in Woodford Hill and the playing field, and the hard courts in Mount Prosper. Okay. So these also will be commissioned, and the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Even we speak of the forecourt, and when we speak of the OACS, we'll tell you how much we've done there. But just standing and looking at the stadium, it's really beautiful. We have made significant investment in works on the outfield, and it looks very beautiful. We have built the base for the scoreboard. The scoreboard is here, and we expect the people from New Zealand to come in. Unfortunately, twice when they were scheduled to come in, they could not travel because of COVID-19 travel restrictions. But now we are doing everything, trying our best to get them here, because we want to have cricket in a few months from now. And since Hurricane Maria, we have indeed spent about $8 million to restore the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. And we still continue to do work. We are procuring lights for the Windsor Park Sports Stadium.
Okay. Has your ministry engaged sporting associations and organizations during the pandemic?
Sure, we've had consultations with the sports leaders and or representatives, and I have attended 2 such consultations that looked at just speaking to the COVID-19 pandemic and getting suggestions and recommendations from these organizations, and also soliciting their support to sensitize persons in terms of what we need, of complying with the protocols, what we need to do, and encouraging people to get vaccinated, their players, their clientele, to get vaccinated. So we have been consulting with them, and actually I have attended 2 such meetings.
The budget, a recent budget, spoke of the implementation of the National Sports Council for Dominica. Given the current challenges, is this something that will materialize soon?
Yeah. Yes, we are going full ahead with the Sports Council. We had again a first consultation to discuss the Sports Council and to have suggestions. We have a draft document informed by this research, like we look at what obtains in other islands, and so it has been informed by dialogue, and it is available for further discuss. A task force is being put in place to take the process forward, and we expect to have the council in place before the end of March or early April. And meantime, also, we will be having technical support for the review of the sports policy.
Okay, and
so there's ongoing work even as we speak, and we hope by April latest we can have the Sports Council in place.
Excellent. Now, this weekend we'll be hosting a major netball tournament in Dominica. I think it's the OACS Netball Championships being hosted in Dominica this weekend. Are we
Yes.
prepared for this event? What sort of support has government given to the DNA in hosting this event?
Daryl, actually, we are elated as a country to have been selected to host the second OECS ECCB Netball Series. And we do thank the organizers for choosing us. And so far, we have been partnering very well with the Dominica Netball Association for this event. Tremendous effort by the Ministry of Sports, and not only the Ministry of Sports, but we have other collaborating ministries like Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Health, the Prime Minister Office in terms of media and public relations, and the Palrep of Roseau. And the government has made significant investments so that we can ensure we host the tournament. In fact, investment costs for preparation is in the region of $350,000. That included purchasing portable netball system, additional floodlights, additional bleachers, repainting of the courts, repair to the washrooms, that's the public washrooms, because in the COVID situation, we have to ensure that spectators and players, officials are not together, do not mingle. We sort of ensure that with these sports taking place that you have a bubble as much as possible among players or among the teams. So we had to ensure that the washroom for the public was repaired and ready. We purchased flagpoles. We changed the gates. So we now have a sliding gate. We've given facelift to the area, certain areas in the stadium. So it has required quite a lot, and just preparatory work exceeds, I would say, $350,000 investment. The government has not only prepared the area and make provisions to ensure we host, but we are also sponsoring aspects of the event's budget itself. And our contribution is valued at about over $100,000. We are happy to partner with the Dominica Dominica Netball Association, the CNA, and ECCB to host the tournament, which can augur well for Dominica, which we expect, to augur very well for us in terms of marketing Dominica. Already we are being featured in the region and the world. We expect to be featured in the world. So it's a way to market Dominica, to promote and push sports tourism, and the economic benefits to be derived by individuals, private sector, and groups in Dominica, and importantly, exposure for our players, So those are among the benefits that we expect and more. And I really want to extend appreciation again to the Dominica National Netball Association, the permanent secretary and staff of my ministry, the other collaborating ministries. And I want to single out Mr. Yannick Regis, who is not a member of our staff, but has been there and assisting and really doing that with a passion and commitment, and along with his team. So all of the key people who have been playing a role, I want to extend appreciation on behalf of my ministry.
Indeed.
And the government of Dominica.
And we're looking for a good showing from Dominica.
Yes. I encourage people to come and support. Once you're vaccinated and you test negative, come and support netball. Let's do a good showing so that Dominica can be the place of choice, the venue of choice for such regional and international tournaments as we seek to enhance sports tourism in Dominica and sports on a whole, sports development in Dominica.
You mentioned a bubble sort of arrangement with the teams and the officials. This means that patrons or everybody being part of this tournament would have to be vaccinated.
Yes. Everybody who is participating has to be vaccinated. We cannot overemphasize that, and we all understand why.
Okay. And I think the tournament begins on Sunday?
Yes, the tournament begins on Sunday evening.
All right then. So we look forward to Dominica's participation in the netball series, the OECS netball series. I think that is sponsored by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. But you heard from the minister an investment of over $350,000 already by the government for hosting such tournament. And I think the Netball Association has to be commended, in particular the likes of Honorable Her Excellency Lauren Bannis Roberts in putting together this tournament for Dominica. But recently, if we move on to other aspects of your ministry, recently we saw the change in the leadership at the cultural division. Are you satisfied with the work of the division, particularly their role in keeping culture alive even during the pandemic?
Yeah. Indeed, Daryl, but I want to first, start off from where Wilson started. He started by succeeding Mr. Raymond Lawrence, and I want to express gratitude again, I always do, for Mr. Raymond Lawrence, who has served so very well in a dignified manner in his capacity as Chief Cultural Officer. He did quite well. He made a very significant contribution to Dominica and even served post his formal retirement for 4 years. So we are very grateful. But as you said, he was succeeded by a very young man, one with a lot of inspiration, Mr. Urson Matthew, who succeeded him. He came at a time when he was challenged with the COVID-19 pandemic environment. That's when he had to start as the Chief Cultural Officer. And so it has posed its own level of difficulty given the environment within which we operate and the nature of cultural activities and independence celebration. But during the independence celebration, he really showed, he and his team really showed their worth and that they could rise to the occasion. And we must say, we will all agree, we did enjoy independence celebration, even given the current environment. And they were very innovative in ensuring that they kept the spirit of culture and our celebration alive during that time, and they continue to do so. So they were very innovative during Independence time, during Christmas time. So he hit the ground running. And with that kind of spirit and passion, drive, commitment, and being strategic, I think we will go places in preserving, first and foremost, preserving our traditional heritage and promoting, for example, the creative industry. So not just promoting, preserving first, and then promoting what we have, who we are as a people. So we look forward to continued work in preserving and promoting this cultural heritage. And we also look forward to undertaking new projects, such as in our manifesto, we have the National Cultural or Media Center, which we articulated very well in our manifesto. And we will begin looking at that, conceptualizing this project. We also have been working with the OAS, and we are developing a strategic framework for advancing the creative industries. We will continue with that under Mr. Matthew's leadership. And Mr. Matthew as well and the Cultural Division are taking a lead in a partnership project with UNESCO based on our intangible cultural heritage. And as part of that, we will also, one of the deliverables is to review the cultural policy to ensure that our intangible heritage continues to play a role in our development.
One of the things we have not seen over the last few years is in-person cultural celebrations, whether it's the cultural gala, the What Do Yet shows, and what have you. if we do the right things, taking the vaccine, could we see the return of this year?
Yes, like sports, it is about bringing people together. As I said, most of the activities under my ministry requires that, and so it makes sense that we get herd immunity. It makes sense that we get vaccinated, and we get back to our cultural thing. That's one of the things that either visitors or our family overseas look forward to come and help, come and engage in, come and participate in, come and help to celebrate. And I really miss it. You know, Daryl, that
You're
I am
a cultural person. I know that. Yes.
I know I miss it, and I know all cultural enthusiasts and so on miss that aspects of our life. It is a very critical aspect of the Dominican life and the Dominican celebration. And if it's one thing I will encourage us to do, is to get vaccinated. Let us get back to what we love to do, the life we are expected or we are accustomed to. And Independence Time plays a very great role in the life of Dominica and Dominicans. So just
Let's
like
hope.
sports, we pray and we hope that we can return to normal activities.
Yes, and we'll be celebrating our 44th anniversary of independence this year. Let's go back to Heritage Day and this thing. Let us get there so we can. One of my favorite times is going out to the community on a Heritage Day and seeing the cultural elder and that sort of thing, and seeing the cultural dances, hearing the cultural songs, your Creole wear and what have you. And it would be good that we were able to get back to that this year.
Yes, and as you mentioned, elderly, the way we acquire our cultural heritage often, that's why we call it often intangible. The elderly play a very critical role in passing on the pastimes, the folklore, and so on to our young people. And so even when we do not get vaccinated and sometimes we get home and this affects family members, including the elderly, we are losing some of our cultural stalwarts. We are losing some of our critical people with the indigenous knowledge. So all of this we really need to think of and to get on board in we getting rid of COVID-19.
All right then. Now, another part of your ministry, a very important part, is the Basic Needs Trust Fund. The Basic Needs Trust Fund over the years has implemented a number of community-based projects which has directly impacted the lives of people in the communities, in particular the vulnerable people. Are there BNTF projects going on as we speak? And what plans do we have for the next cycle of BNTF? I think it's BNTF 10 we may be going to. Where are we with these projects?
We recently commissioned the DAPD building, and we know how this is important for the DAPD people and its clientele. And we were happy that this formed part of the Basic Needs Trust Fund 9 project. And generally, we have completed the BNTF 9 projects, and we'll be commissioning other facilities under the BNTF. I mentioned two when I spoke of sports. That is the Mon Prosper hard court and fencing or security of the Mon Prosper School. That was one project. It has been completed and waiting to be commissioned. I also mentioned Woodfordale Playing Field and Pavilion, but we also have the Mon Prosper water supply, which was a project of over $2 million. The community high school, we did a 2-story block at the community high school, and we will be commissioning that building as well. And so all of the 7 Basic Needs Trust Fund projects on the BNTF 9 has been completed, and we will be commissioning all of those. And BNTF Basic Needs Trust Fund 10 is well advanced, and we should be rolling out these projects sometime later this year.
Yes, and I know one of the project you mentioned the DADP. I know one of the projects was for the a school up there at in the Silver Lake area. That is the community high
Yes,
school.
yes.
That has been completed as
Yeah,
well.
yes, that's what I'm saying. That is the building block, two-story building.
Mm-hmm.
It's also completed and equipped as well.
Okay.
So most of the projects which we did, we also provided equipment for them.
Yes, and quite a bit of money has been spent on this project. Millions of dollars
Millions
have
of
been spent
dollars.
on this project.
Yeah, approximately $8 million for these projects.
That's BNTF 9.
Yes.
$8 million spent on BNTF 9. You're listening to Focus on Government and Development. My guest this evening is the Honorable Minister for Sports, Culture, and Community Development, Honorable Rosalind Paul. First and foremost, she is the parliamentary representative for the Paybush constituency. Time flies by when you're discussing good things, and it's already some 21 minutes moving up to the hour of 9 o'clock. So let's dive into the Paybush constituency. What are some of the major projects happening or ongoing in the Paybush constituency as we speak? We're talking about housing, farm access roads, agriculture, education, infrastructure, and sports. What are some of the projects that are ongoing or some that have even been recently completed?
The new year, the Paybush constituency, I want to once again call out, greet my constituents, because we started this year with very good news. Very early this year, this was a very great indeed New Year's gift. The Prime Minister made the pronouncement of starting the Boamo Park housing project. So we are going to be building 16 new homes in the Boamo Park area. So that is very, very good news. And also, the other communities are not left out. The Prime Minister has also given directives and approved for the acquisition of an identified area of land in Calibishe that will be used for the construction of housing units for the people of Calibishe. In addition, we are targeting Simon in Benz, not only for housing, but Simon is an area which needs a little boost. And so we're targeting Simon for housing, but also for the overall, the total development of the area. In addition to that, we have just completed, we continue to build for people or with people on their land that they own. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, we have just more or less completed another set of homes in the constituency. Within the last year, we did about 7 homes on people's lands for them. And they are at the stage of completion. Under the government housing recovery, we are also constructing, 3 homes are being constructed under the government housing recovery program in the constituency. That is what we often refer to as the World Bank program. So there are 3 persons benefiting from that program. And we will be continuing to our next set of houses. We have some houses that we started, so we are completing it phase by phase. So now that we've finished with a 7, we can move on to a few more. So the housing and home repair program continues in the Paybush constituency, even while we welcome and appreciate the housing development that's going to take place. As other communities on island, we are challenged in terms of housing, and there are people who are in need and cannot construct a house for themselves. So we will be getting our own share of the pie and to commence with Boamo Park. So the people are excited, I'm excited, and we look forward to a very wonderful year this year with the investment that government is going to make, not only in housing, but as we speak, in other areas as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We also had more good news. The water supply, the Calibishe water supply has been approved. This will involve upgrade of the water intake, construction of new storage tanks at higher elevation, a new pumping station, water treatment plant, new pipelines, and at an investment of $4.2 million through UK funding. So $4.2 million is going to be spent in the Calibishe community to ensure that we have proper and adequate water supply. I know you have been patient, the people of Calibishe. You have had water issues, you have had to collect water at night and so on, but your issue is going to be addressed, and at a cost of $4.2 million. We expect it should have started already. There was one little delay, an issue that we are currently addressing, but we expect the project to start in June and to last for 12 months. Also under the BNTF, plans are to rehabilitate the system in Pebush, the water system in Pebush, and this water system serves 3 communities: Pebush, Thibault, and Dodan. So there is consideration under the BNTF, and we have plans to rehabilitate the water supply in Pebush, the water system in Pebush. This system has been in existence since 1970, so it is 50 years old, and frequently you have the bursting of pipes, the tank needs to be reconstructed and all of that. So we'll be changing the pipelines across the communities under this project. We also have more and
Good
more
news.
good news. A lot of is happening. The Middle Ridge Road, the long-awaited Middle Ridge Road, the contract has been signed at last. We have signed the project and the contract, and we expect work to begin in April at a cost of 1.7 million euros. And we can do the conversion in terms of EC. And we will start from the Savanpai end, since that is the area that is most in more deplorable condition. So we'll start from there, and we expect to have 720 meters of road and with drains as well. So once again, some millions. This is going to be spent in Calibishe for the Middle Ridge Road. And in Pebush, another road that has been approved, a feeder road, is the Boppler Road. And importantly, one of the young farmers who is involved in hydroponics is in the Boppler area. And so we would hope that he can assist in training some of the young people in the area in terms of hydroponics. We had started that program with him. He's always willing to train people in hydroponics. And so the Boppler Road is on the card to be built. It has been approved, and that is another project that is going to be implemented in the Pebush constituency.
Where in Pebush is Boppler?
Boppler it's not in the village. It is along the highway. When you pass along the highway, you see rivers. Somewhere between Blenheim and Sus.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you go across this place. Yeah, there was a bridge a concrete bridge that was built there, but it was since damaged. So that's the area.
Okay.
And in terms of agriculture, another road we're looking at is the Schrodinger Road. Provision was made under this year's budget for the Schrodinger Road. The assessments have been done, and Public Works is working on whatever preliminaries they need to put in place. And the Schrodinger Road, importantly, does not only serve farmers, but it is to access a very important tourism site, tourism attraction site, that is the Schrodinger pool itself, and it also, the road leads to the intake, the water intake, and so you would see it has multiple purposes, and it's in very bad condition. So this is a road that we will definitely give attention, address this year. And the farmers in Mamiton also had a very good New Year. The first week of the year, the entire road was cleared. So access to this road was improved, and we intend to continue to maintain this feeder road, because maintenance is what is very important on those feeder roads. And while I speak on these feeder roads, I want to encourage the farmers in these areas to come together and to ensure that we help in maintaining those roads. Do not let, if something is right, a drain is right next to your garden and there's a blockage, please help us. You clear the drain, because we have to all put our hands and hats together to be able to maintain the roads that leads to our access and improve productivity. And all of these projects that we speak of, you are speaking to the expansion of the rural economy, you are speaking to jobs, you are speaking to expected improved production and productivity. And so it's really beneficial to have those projects and those major investments in the constituency. Between the two roads, Middle Ridge Road and the water supply and Boppler, you're talking about millions of dollars that is to be expended in the constituency. And our farmers also continue to benefit from the Sustainable Livelihoods project under the Ministry of Agriculture. Actually, I think our farmers are very happy, and I come from, I represent communities like Calibishe, where you have farmers. That's an agricultural based community, and I can tell you the farmers, most of them or hardly any of them are complaining right now.
I know you have the CARICOM Farmer
and I have the CARICOM Farmer of the Year, Mr. Diles Warrington.
Yes.
So we have some very good farmers there, some very productive farmers, and investing in feeder roads, investing in these farmers, you cannot go wrong. You can only make things better and help them to contribute to the economic development, help them to contribute to our food security in Dominica, and to helping us in terms of foreign exchange, in terms of export, and substituting the food import bill. And as we speak of the food import bill, we know that meat, livestock is very important. And eight livestock farmers in my constituency, including 2 women of the Paybush constituency, will benefit under the component of the Sustainable Livelihood Project, under the livestock component of the Sustainable Livelihoods Projects. And this is to a tune of $277,000 that is being spent, that is going to be spent very shortly on the livestock farmers, 8 of them from the Paybush constituency. Also, I'm happy to learn as well that some of the women of Calibishe will be benefiting from technical support and equipment under the Sustainable Agriculture in the Caribbean project. And so there's a lot that our people are benefiting from government's investment. And even a few of my youth, they are going to be participating in the training program in boat building. And we also have a new cassava plant in Calibishe. This is complete, and equipment is now being procured for its opening. And the young entrepreneurs, especially those in agro-processing, are looking forward to its opening. And I want to really commend all of these young people I see in Calibishe who are involved in agro-processing. There's also the women's CMOS group in Calibishe. So it would seem that Calibishe is quickly becoming a hub for agro-processing. And I've been facilitating and supporting the Calibishe CMOS women's group. Okay, so other projects, very importantly, we have the Calibishe Primary School.
Yes.
This remains a major concern for the people of Calibishe. And I really want to assure the people of Calibishe that the Prime Minister and the Cabinet will push in very hard to make sure we expedite the construction of the schools that the Chinese Republic,
the People's Republic
of China is going to be funding these schools, including Calibishe. And we are pushing and trying our best to ensure that this school begins in this year.
Yes.
Right. We also, a number of our students, like other communities, benefited from the devices that facilitated their online learning. I myself, before for secondary schools and college students, I distributed 137 laptops to students. And then our primary schools also benefited each from a device. And now the government again is distributing among the secondary school students who have not received. So my constituency has greatly benefited from that. You know, this is a government. This is the government for the education of our children. In terms we facilitate everything to ensure that no child is left behind. So my constituents have not been left behind. And I think they have been greatly satisfied in terms of that. We also just completed a very beautiful piece of a very important wall in Belmanier. And, you know, Pebush is on a ridge, Benz is on a ridge, and so we often have edge failures, and so we invest a lot in doing walls for the safety of our people, for the safety of travelers, commuters. And currently we are constructing another wall that is in the area leading to the school, Pebush Primary School. And we expect to do a similar wall as well in Benz. Estimates have been done for a retaining wall and drainage in Benz to be implemented shortly. Through the Basic Needs Trust Fund as well, we hope to extend the river wall in Calibishe and to complete the Kwetkuko Road. The Prime Minister has given his commitment in terms the Anzime Jetty remains a very important priority for the community, for the fishermen, for the traders between Marigaland and Dominica. And it has been a traditional port of entry for years, but right now it's in a condition where we need to have a new jetty, and the Prime Minister has given his commitment. And currently, we are revisiting the estimates and proposals that were submitted. So the work, the discussion, the estimate, the preparation is ongoing, and the Prime Minister has given his commitment. So Anzime people, I would encourage you, and not just Anzime, but the whole district sort of uses this port to go to Marigaland, to go to Guadeloupe, to trade. So it's important to trade, it's important for economic activities, it's important as fish landing site, and so it is a very significant piece of infrastructure that we need to have. The Pebush Cemetery, we have been squeezing for a while. All the dead people squeezing there.
Yes.
So that has been an issue for Pebush, and the Pebush people should be happy to hear that the Prime Minister has approved and given directive for the acquisition of some land that we need to expand the cemetery. we are also working together. The Ben's Council, Village Council, and I have been working on the downstairs of the resource center that we hope to use for multiple purposes, but also as a shelter. And we have done tremendous work. We just have a little bit work left, such as tiling and painting to do, and to set up a little cupboard, a little kitchenette. But the structure is there, and we will be completing that. And we are just looking to ensure we have some resources so that we can complete this work together. So I want to really thank the Ben's Village Council, and I also want to thank IOM for some material contribution that has brought us thus far for the downstairs of the Ben's Resource Center. And we expect to commission the Anzime New Health Center soon. So we have two important pieces of infrastructure in terms of advancing health and well-being in the area, and that is the Anzime Health Center, very important to the people of Anzime, Benz, and Solda. And because our health center, it has been closed for a while, the first structure that we have, and we look forward to the opening. But what is being awaited is the equipment to be installed, and then the commissioning of the health center. But another important piece of health infrastructure is the new hospital for the Northeast, including Calibishe, that is located in Marigot. So often I don't refer to it as the Marigot Hospital. I can say the Marigot District Hospital, because it also serves Calibishe and environs. And so we are happy to have this hospital that will serve us better in the Northeast. Okay.
The international airport, you mentioned the hospital, but the international airport is
we'll come into that.
It's even closer to, to the constituency.
And we'll come into that. Actually, yes, the international airport and several initiatives on the North and Northeast is going to benefit the communities of the North and Northeast. And the international airport is not just going to benefit, it has started benefiting some contractors, some individuals, some workers within the Pebush constituency. A number of people have been benefiting from projects, even in the building of houses in Wesley have been engaged in that. And so the construction of the international airport is benefiting my constituents, and we expect, as the airport development continues, that more and more of the people of Pebush, Benz, Calibishe will benefit from this international airport. And I always encourage my young people in particular to position themselves to take advantage of the opportunities that these projects bring. So we have the big international airport just next door. We are the neighbor, so we cannot let this thing slide from us. We really have to take full advantage. So I encourage my young people to even begin to position themselves, pursue training, and that which would lend to they getting a job at the international airport, they getting a job at the hotels on the north. We have hotels. We have the Kempinski Hotel that several of my constituents have worked in or are working there now. And we have the upcoming hotel in Picard. So we encourage the young people to take advantage of that. And other opportunities in tourism and hospitality. And even now that it's going to be the cruise, what we call that? Cruise job fair.
Yes.
I have had many discussions. I've been working with my young people who are interested to try to take advantage of those. So there are various projects, as you heard, that are going to be upcoming in the Pebush constituency that will offer job opportunities for people, opportunity for income. So I really want to encourage the Pebush people, Benz, Anzime, and Solda people, the Calibishe people, my dear constituents, to take advantage of those. It's right on our doorstep, and we cannot. An international airport is the biggest project ever undertaken of that magnitude ever undertaken in Dominica. So it cannot be in our neighborhood and we don't take advantage of it. So there's a lot going on, Daryl, as you would realize, and there's a lot upcoming. It's a very good year for the people of the Pebush constituency. I know many of you have been waiting patiently. Many of you have been seeing major housing development in other constituency, but now is our time, and we look forward to it. We're excited, and I want to really thank the Honorable Prime Minister. I want to thank the Cabinet, the government of Dominica, for helping me to ensure that I can carry my mandate, that I can take up my responsibilities and to deliver to the people of the Pebush constituency. So there's more. There are programs that we could discuss, but in the interest of time, we only focus on some projects at this time.
Indeed. A comprehensive report there on developments in the Pebush constituency. You heard earlier what's going on in the Ministry of Sports, Culture, and Community Development. It's already going past the hour of 9 o'clock, so we'll call on Honorable Paul to give us her closing remarks here as we wrap up Focus on Government and Development this evening.
Okay, I'd like to really thank you for the opportunity. I never realized an hour can go so quickly. Can't believe I spoke for an hour there. Yes. And there's so much more that we could say in terms of sports programming, in terms of culture, and in terms of even the community or the constituency.
Yes.
But there will be another opportunity. I want to once again thank this staff, the permanent secretary and staff of the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Community Development. Given the environment that we are operating in, and we are trying our best, you are trying your best, and we can only look forward to more work and better work. And I want to really thank the people of my constituency, very loving people, very protective of me, and also very patient people. I know there are a number of people who have some requests, especially in terms of housing, but we take it one at a time, two at a time, five at a time. But we will respond to you, so thank you for your patience. And for all the community leaders, the contractors, the village councils that work very closely with me, I want to say, I really do appreciate it. You make my work much lighter, and together we can only make it better for you and for me to help you. So once again, thank you, and I bid every Dominican pleasant night, but to encourage you to stay safe and get vaccinated. As Minister of Sports, Culture and Community Development, I definitely have to say to get vaccinated, because all of our activities are being affected by COVID-19. So thank you very much, and I bid everyone a pleasant evening. I want to also hail the Prime Minister, say a good night to the Prime Minister and his family. Thank you much.
Thank you, Honorable Rosalind Paul, the Minister for Sports, Culture and Community Development. First and foremost, the parliamentary representative for the Pebush constituency. That's where we come to the end of the program for tonight, Thursday. Focus on Government and Development, live here on DBS Radio and Kyrie FM. Until we return next time for another program, I want to wish you a very good Thursday evening. One love, one love.
must work together as a family, my people, in order to build our small country. Yeah, instead of the backbite